Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. Today we're going to talk about how to implement a new system in your business and the business of your clients. Hey everybody, welcome. I am Belinda Sandor. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'll be your host today. Today we're going to talk about how to implement a system in your business. And it's an interesting topic because there's a mindset piece, there's the technical piece, and it's a topic that I love because I feel like this is maybe funny to say, but it uses my whole brain. It uses my whole brain when I'm implementing a system. I know sometimes my work feels like it's just like a little this, a little that, but implementing a new system, it's a lot of fun. So I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. Oh my gosh, so we've got Talara's here. This is great, from Calgary, and we've got someone from England, which is awesome. So tell me where you're coming in from. And I want you to know that Lessons from the Cockpit is brought to you by the VA Connection. And at the VA Connection, we help new, aspiring, and established virtual assistants build thriving businesses with the skills they already have. And we do this in our free online community, our courses, and our coaching programs. All right, so everybody's coming in. This is great. Keep on coming. Keep on coming. So I want you to know that learning how to set up a system successfully is not only going to help your business, but it's also going to help you make more money because you're going to be able to do this for clients. And you guys know that I'm a big fan of that, of working on our own businesses as a way of learning new skills, putting ourselves out there, and then being able to do the same thing for our clients. All right. So let me introduce myself for a minute while you guys are coming in. All right. So this is me, and I like to call her my little delish. She's not so little anymore. I was 5'10". I just was told by my doctor I'm now 5'9", and she's 5'9". So she's not a little delish at all anymore, but she is still delicious. And this is us 11 years ago, actually 12 years ago, when I was first starting my business as a virtual assistant. And this was a really scary time for me. It was scary because I was coming up to a milestone birthday. I was just about to turn 50. And I don't know about you, but I really put a lot of emphasis on, where do I want to be when I'm 30, 40, 50, 60 even. I'm a big planner. And I like to know what to expect, right? And I also really enjoy working towards goals and getting things done. But at this particular time, and I had met my milestones, my 30th milestone, my 40th milestone, but coming into 50, thinking about what I wanted, I wanted to be happy. I wanted to have saved money for retirement, started that whole thing going. I wanted to be comfortable financially. I wanted to own a home. I wanted to be happily married. I wanted to have my life what I consider to be, like on track. And it wasn't anywhere near that. It wasn't even close. Instead, I'm getting divorced, right? I'm getting divorced. I don't have a job. I have a business that has failed horribly. And the result of the horrible failure of the business is that I'm in debt, 6 figures in debt, and I have to figure that out. I haven't paid taxes for 7 years. I've got a total mess. I'm getting divorced. So now I'm figuring the whole single mom thing. And Emily and I had to move 3 times in 4 years where, I don't know, how many of you have, this is what happens. When you move, you have to touch all your stuff. And when you touch all your stuff, there's emotion that comes with that, oh, this is, the wedding gift, or this is the, whatever it is. But my point is it's very emotional to move and and it's also very expensive. And so we are just in turmoil. And at the same time, I'm trying to create a level, a level situation for Emily. I don't want her to be going up and down. I don't want her to be worrying about, do we have enough money? I don't even want her to know that that's like a problem, right? I don't want her to even know that's a problem, because I want her to feel safe. I want her to feel safe. And so I had to figure out what I was going to do. And I started temping because I was a secretary back in the day, and I liked it. And I liked being back in the workplace. And I thought, all right, so I'm not going to be able to make enough money temping to not only get us out of this, huge financial hole, but to get us on top of it on the other, heading in the other direction. So what I did was I thought, I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to start my own business doing admin work, kind of like temping. I didn't understand the concept of virtual assistants yet, but I thought, all right, I'm going to tell everybody I know, which was so scary, but I did it, right? So I started at the school bus stop, and I'm there one morning, and I said, the dads were usually there in the morning with the kids. And one of the dads says, "What's new?" And I said, "Well, this is what I'm thinking. I've been temping. I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to start my business, blah, blah, blah." And didn't have a name, didn't have an email, didn't have anything. And his whole face changed. And he said, "Oh my gosh, we have to talk," because he had started a business a couple months before, which I had no idea. And he needed admin help. So I paid his bills. I set up his QuickBooks because I knew how. I put software on computers because back then it was like CD-ROMs, right? I went to the post office. I mailed them to the people that worked with him, and it was great. And then I kept telling people, and I'm at a wedding reception, and I'm in the buffet line and waiting to get some food. And I start talking to this man and his wife, and he gives me his card, and I connect with him on LinkedIn, which again felt, excuse me, like such a big deal, because it felt like I kept thinking he's going to think I want something from him, right? That's what we think. He's going to think I want something from him. I feel really weird about this. I'm connecting with this person I just met. But that's how you build a business, right? That's how you build a business. So weeks went by, and then all of a sudden he messages me on LinkedIn, "Can you help me with this project?" And I knew how to do it. He wanted me to help him set up credit card processing using Eventbrite. I'm like, I can figure that out, right? That can't be that hard. So I did it. And so what I want to tell you here, such an important part of my story, is that I don't want you to prospect to find new clients. I don't want you to try to figure out who's going to hire you. I don't want you to put flyers up in the diner. It's not going to work. What works is building relationships. All right. And you're going to do that in lots of different ways that I teach you in the challenge, which we're going to have next week, and also in VA school. So I want you to stop prospecting and stop trying to think your way through who's going to hire you and who's not, and just spread the word to everyone you know, and make new friends and tell them as well. Okay. And here's what I want you to know is that as a result of doing that, I've been in business as a virtual assistant since 2010. That's almost 13 years this summer. I've worked with over 200 clients, and I've made $1 million from my house. The first year I was in business, I made $70,000. And every year after that, I made over $100,000 working from home doing VA work. Okay. So just take that in for a minute. And here's what it looks like today. So this is my husband, Greg. We've been married. It's going to be 2 years this summer, which is cool. And these are our kids, David, Charlie, Emily, Stephen, and Andy. And a lot has changed by not listening to the voices in my head and let them be in charge. I know a lot of us, we overthink things, we worry about what other people think, and we don't want to get out there. And I'm telling you, you just have to stop doing that. And you're in charge of that, because it's getting in the way of success. It's getting in the way of success. All right. I want you to be making money, happy, figuring it out, and out there. All right, so we're going to transition now. I'm going to say hello to some of you, and then we are going to jump into this system situation. All right. So Frederica's here. Hello from Amsterdam. Maria's here from Pennsylvania. Good morning from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Amy's here from Florida. Jenny's here from Greensboro. Teresa's from Kentucky. Melanie from the UK. We've got Anella from Estonia. That's awesome. We've had 2 students from Estonia in VA school. Arlene is here, and Tori is here from South Carolina. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Welcome, you guys. All right. So what we're going to talk about is how to be a business system superhero. All right. Now, over the course of my career as a virtual assistant and really as a human being, it's really important to understand how to adopt a new system. And the system can be, something as simple as, here's an example. Okay. So this is a way that I capture my ideas, but I'm just trying to get them all together. So I have like a Post-it farm on my desk, right? The Post-its collect all over my desk. And when I moved into my project management system, what I did was I sat down for an entire day and I moved them all into the project management software. So whether it's, setting up new email or a calendar software or a new CRM or any kind of system, it's really important that you have a process for doing this, okay? Now, one of the things that's really important is that you need to really commit to this, and we're going to go into the details later. But I want you to imagine the chaos that would be in place if you didn't follow a process, okay? So imagine that you're setting up a new billing system, okay? And you have some people in the old system, you have some people in the new system, and you're not really sure where they are, and it's just a mess. You can see where that would be really chaotic, right? So the point of this is that when you're implementing a new system, you have to go 100%. You can't stop at 90. All right, you can't stop at 90. And the thing is that 100% is going to really make you lean in, and probably at the end, one of two things can happen. One is that you're like so excited that you're like, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make sure about that. The other thing that can happen is that you get tired and overwhelmed, and you don't want to go the distance. But that is the secret to success, is going all the way, and then even maybe a little further, if that makes sense. And I'd love to know in the chat, how this is resonating. So let me know. All right, let me know. So let's jump in a little bit further. All right, so the first thing that you want to do when you're deciding on this new system, and keep in mind, this can be really a small system, like it could be huge. So it could be a system for setting up meetings for your client. All right. So when I have clients that they want me to set up, 20 meetings for them, and the system is as simple as I set up a spreadsheet, I have access to their calendar, I have access to an email address in their business, and I'm setting meetings up. Now, the system is simply just listing all the people I'm going to be in contact with, and making notes about, did they respond? When was the last time I emailed them? Things like that. Now, if I only move in half, right, then it's a mess. So the system could be that simple. It could also be, setting up the debit card system for yourself, and you only set the debit card system up for a 5-hour chunk of time and not 10, and now you're winging it all the time. So you want to make sure that you 100% commit. And here's a big thing. Once you decide what the system is going to be, stop overthinking it. Stop looking at other things. Like, let's say you decide, I'm moving my business into Asana. I'm going to implement Asana. I'm going to take all the Post-its off my desk, and I'm going to use this for my system. Stop looking at other options. Okay. Stop looking at other options. That doesn't mean that later down the road, you might not find another project management software that you like better, but move all into it. Okay, move all into it, commit, and stop looking at all the others. Because what happens is you just start this undercurrent of doubting yourself, right? Now, if you move into Asana like I did 12 years ago, and you decide, 6 months later that you don't really like it, that's okay. Now you know Asana, all right? And then you can move into the next one. It's okay. It's 100% okay. But make sure you sketch out the project. Now, here, I'm going to show you something. What I do a lot of times, I wasn't thinking about this, but I have this big notebook, and most of the things that I do are on the computer. But for example, we're planning a big event, and this is my page for the big event. So I take all of my ideas, and I sit down and I sketch them out. There's things I have to do now, things I have to do later, ideas that I'm having, in the moment, and I sketch it out. So you want to sketch the whole project out. So if you're moving to a new, email system or something like that, you want to think about, okay, there's going to be a time when my email's not going to work because I'm switching to a new system, and how am I going to get the old emails out of the system, and how, all the different things. So the steps aren't important, but it is important to sit down and think about it and capture everything and give yourself some time. And what I mean by that is usually, I'll sketch everything out and then I'll stop and I'll go for a walk. And while I'm on my walk, or while I'm having dinner, or the next morning in the shower, I think, oh, what about that? Right? So you want to make the plan and give yourself some time to have, ideas bubble up and percolate. Okay. So definitely do that. Now, the next thing you want to do is scope out some time for the implementation. Okay. And sometimes it's going to take a whole day. When I moved into Asana, it took a whole day, and I was very thorough. And we're going to talk about that too, because what I did was I wanted to have everything I was working on in Asana for my clients and for my business. So I went through all of my Post-it farm, right? I have them all over the place. And I went through my notebooks and I went through my email, and I really thought about all the things and where I was keeping them and where I was looking for them. And I moved them all into Asana. And I probably did it in, like 4-hour chunks. You get up, take a lap, get a drink, come back, but really concentrated time, because when I'm working in chunks of time like that, I really can understand the project in a different way than when I'm, doing a piece here, a piece there, a piece there, in between other things. So really, for my business, once I started working with clients, that would be a Saturday morning kind of thing. Emily's still sleeping, Greg's playing paddle, and I'm here by myself. And I'm like, okay, it's quiet. I'm going to put on some music. I have no client obligations. I'm just going to move into now. And I'm going to do, just really relax and not put any time pressure on myself, and really understand what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So definitely schedule time on your calendar. It's going to feel like a relief when you do that, because you're giving yourself permission to do nothing besides this. And that can actually be such a delicious feeling, to know that you've given yourself the ability to focus and really dive into it and relax and make this change in your business. And so being thorough is a key. And so let's say you're moving your client or yourself onto a new calendar. You don't want to move all your appointments for January, but not February, right? You want to go through all of the appointments and move them. You don't want to say, you know what, I'll move the birthdays later, because later it's not a good idea. It's really not a good idea. You want to be completely confident, because there's a lot of discomfort when we have to start trusting a new system, whatever it is, because we think, oh, what if I forgot something? So you want to be as thorough as you can. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to get support. I can't tell you how many times I've said to people that they're struggling with something, and I say, are you paying for that? And they say, yes. I'm like, submit a ticket, get support, right? Just ask the question. You don't have to know everything. And please don't spend hours Googling the answers to the question. If you have the ability for support, even if it takes them 3 or 4 or 5 hours to get back to you, use that time for something else, right? And not for just, stressing out and feeling bad about it. So one of the things that I do, and I've done this several times, I have a client who's a nutritionist, and she wanted to move from a paper system to 100% digital. And that was a big deal for her. It was a big deal for me too, because I didn't know the software. So what I did, first step, was I got in touch, and this was expensive software, so there was definitely support. I got in touch with the person who sells the product to nutritionists, and I said, can you give me a tour? So we got on Zoom, and they gave me a tour so I could see all of the different pieces of functionality and how it kind of worked together. I could ask questions. And so in 20 or 30 minutes, I moved way beyond not knowing anything to having an understanding. And Talara saying, even if you're on the free plan, go through support. Yeah. And they want to convert you. That's right. And maybe it's okay to pay for it, right? I generally believe in using the free version first, figuring it out, and then decide if I want the paid version based on a need that I have that's not being met. Okay. So definitely don't be afraid to ask for support. It's actually a really smart thing to do because you're not wasting time. There are certain things in life that I just don't need to know. Like, here's an example. This comes up a lot. When you're building your website and you need a SSL certificate, secure socket layer certificate, I don't want to be an expert at that. So every time I've had to buy one for myself or a client, I buy it, I pay for it, I get on chat and I say, I just order the phone, whatever. I just purchased this SSL certificate. Can you help me install it? And usually they say, sure. And they just do it. I don't want to know how that works. It's just not interesting to me. It's not comfortable to do. And I'm over here being billable, while I'm on chat, and they're taking care of it. So think about that. Okay. It's important. Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things. So Tori, I've made really great friends in customer support. Yes. I got to tell you, yesterday I accidentally queued up 18,000 messages in Facebook Messenger using this tool that I use, which that was a huge mistake. And because I'm friends with the people who own the business and I'm always polite and courteous, I DM'd her on Facebook and I said, Jenna, oh my gosh, panic attack. Can you help me? And she did because I'm a good customer. I don't bug them for little things. And we worked it out and they fixed it. But mostly, I just needed to calm down because I realized they're not all going out at once. It's going to take hours and days for this to go. And, but we panic sometimes, right? We panic. And you track your time during that training, right? Right. When I am getting trained on a product that I don't know and for a specific client and they want me to learn it, yes, 100%, all of that time is billable. And I even say that to them when they say, like with this case of this one client, she said, do you know the software? And I said, I don't, because it's very obscure and, I haven't worked with it before, but it's probably works a lot like other systems that I've used. And then I even say to her, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get on Zoom with the salesperson for 20 or 30 minutes and let them explain it to me. And then I'll have the big picture. And she's like, oh, that's so smart. I'm like, I know. Right. So we tell them things like this because what that said to her was, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about how much this is going to cost. Let's get this done as quickly as possible in the most effective way and efficient. Right. So yes, 100%. I track my time for the training. Yes. Good. Now, here's the thing. And I know I mentioned this before, but this is so important. Steer clear of later. Now, if there's a genuine reason why you need to do something later, I want you to take either a notebook like I just showed you, or I want you to put it in your project management software, or I want you to write it down here, what the later steps are. And it's because it's easy to forget. And what you don't want to do is know what you need to do later and not capture it and think you're going to remember. Because what happens is you have to rethink about it, right? You have to think about it again. And for example, I was finishing up, we're having a conference in San Antonio for people who right now it's just open to people who are in the VIP club and have been in VA school. But I was working on the page where people could sign up. And there were 3 things that I needed to wait for my graphics guy to do. And I didn't just say to myself, oh, I'll remember. I wrote them down and then I crossed them off. And then when I was done doing them, I'm like, okay, we're done. We're good. So definitely write down all the steps. And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, but I can't remember all the things. And you know what I think it really is there's so many things to remember, right? Client work, this work, that work, all the different things. So definitely write things down, and it's going to build your confidence. And I know a lot of us, we struggle with that. I don't feel confident, but when you're systematic about something and you're thoughtful and you go all the way in, it's going to change the way you feel about yourself. All right. And you want to be this person, right? And the other thing I want to tell you, and this is interesting too. Every time I start a new project that I don't know how to do it, I have such trash talk in my head. So just know that that's normal. I don't know what I'm doing. Why did I say I would do this? This is ridiculous. This is like, I don't even know, and what I've finally come to all these years later is that happens every single time. Every single time. And so now what I've learned to do over just the course of the last few months actually is say to myself, is just to say to myself, you know what, this always happens. Just knock it off. Just knock it off. And I have to say, this last project that I just worked on for the conference, I actually did not feel bad before I started it. I was like, it's not, it's going to be uncomfortable. You know how to do that. You can do hard things. You've done a million hard things. So just lean in, put on some music and get on with it. And I did. And the result was I finished the project before the deadline and we're having huge success with it. So that is really exciting. All right. So just know that that's going to happen and be this person. All right. Good. Good. All right. So I want to, before we go, I just want to, I want to thank you for coming today. I love that you guys find value in this enough to put it on your calendar and come spend some time with me. And if there's ever a topic you want me to talk about, shoot me an email. I would love ideas about what's important to you. Absolutely. And before we go today, I want to remind you that we're here every Tuesday at 10:30 in the VA Connection. We're also streaming on YouTube. Please click the subscribe button if you're there. We're on LinkedIn. We're on all over Facebook, and we are on Twitter as well. So definitely check that out. Now on Monday, a week from yesterday, we are starting a 5-day free training called the VA Client Kickstart Challenge. And I would love, love, love to have you join me. If you've already done the challenge, do it again. We have people who've done the challenge 4 or 5 times. It's really fun. So there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of information. And if you show up, your time will not be wasted. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to start your business and to get started with a steady stream of clients. Okay. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have some surprises. We're adding something new this time. We're going to have mindset sessions during the whole first week of the challenge, what I'm really excited about. So please come and join me. To learn more, just go to vachallenge.info, sign up, and we'll get you going. We've got a pop-up Facebook group where there are already, I was looking at it this morning, I think there are close to 900 people in the group who are doing exactly what you want to do. And you guys don't have to be afraid of competition. There's plenty of work. There's plenty of clients, and you can make friends and do it together. Okay. And then on next Thursday, I'm going to open doors to VA School. VA School is my signature program. It's a 9-month program that teaches you exactly all the things you need to have a thriving, successful business and a community that's got your back. All right. So we're going to talk about that next Thursday during the challenge. All right. Thank you so much for coming. I love having you here, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.